And you want me to sit in my seat and stand idly by and allow this craziness to happen? You can come after me if you want, but you elected me to stand up. You elected me to use the law. You elected me to go to court. You elected me to continue to challenge this administration. You elected me to stand up for the least of God's children. You elected me to continue fighting on, and I will fight on.
This is not how government is supposed to work. These actions are dangerous, cruel, and illegal. They defy Congress's authority, and they violate federal law. And that is why today I am leading a lawsuit joined by Democratic attorneys general across the country.
You cannot make this up. You cannot make this up. Imagine signing a document so risky, so legally sketchy that you drag your own top staff down with you. And now this is getting worse by the day. The investigation is expanding, the pressure is mounting, and Letitia James looks pretty screwed at this point. Letitia James didn't just sign a suspicious mortgage document. Allegedly, she had 2 senior officials in the New York Attorney General's office sign it too. Not notaries, not lawyers from a bank. Her own team. This move may actually end her political career. Let's get into it. This was based on a detailed report from White Collar Fraud. If you want to follow this story along, go to that site. They have daily updates of what is going on in this situation. So back in August 17th of 2023, Letitia James signs a power of attorney declaring that she plans to make a property in Virginia her principal residence. No wiggle room. The document straight up says, I hereby declare that I intend to occupy this property as my principal residence. Sounds simple enough, right? But this wasn't just some passive formality. It was the key document that secured her $240,000 mortgage with lower rates and looser terms. She had 60 days to move in and stay there for at least a year. But spoiler alert, she never moved. And what makes this even crazier is that while this is all coming to light, Letitia James keeps brushing this off as baseless, continues to go back and forth with the Trump administration as if none of this can possibly touch her.
And that is why today I am leading a lawsuit joined by Democratic attorneys general across the country to stop this administration from tearing down our public health infrastructure. We are asking the court to halt the unlawful dismantling of HHS, to stop the mass firings, and to restore the life-saving programs that millions of Americans depend on, including 9/11 responders, children, and New Yorkers whose lives depend on HHS.
But the evidence is stacking up pretty fast. Now check this out. The people who witnessed this document was not outsiders. It wasn't Virginia residents. It wasn't legal strangers. It was Jennifer Levy. This person was Letitia James' first deputy attorney general, and Sharonda Parchment, another AG office official. They didn't just work with her. Levy was the lead attorney on the Trump civil fraud case. And now her name is on this very document that's under federal investigation. Let that sink in. The woman prosecuting Trump for financial fraud signed off on James' own questionable mortgage paperwork. You cannot make this up. But let's take a step back. The article makes something very clear that these 2 staffers are not being accused of wrongdoing. Not yet anyway. Their job was technically to verify James' signature, not vouch for the truth of the content. But here's the problem. They used the official New York AG addresses, not personal ones. They signed off as government officials on a private real estate deal. And they did this for their boss during a high-stakes Trump trial. They didn't just witness a mortgage. They signed off on a power move that gave James better loan terms that she may not have been legally qualified for. This looks really bad. This is the kind of thing federal prosecutors get really excited and drool over. You seriously cannot make any of this stuff up. On April 14th, 2025, the Federal Housing Finance Agency officially referred this mess to the Department of Justice, and that's why Letitia James is under active investigation for mortgage fraud, perjury, and possibly dragging her staff into a conspiracy to deceive a financial institution. Again, really bad. So the DOJ will be absolutely looking at 1, where the document was signed, 2, why government staff witnessed it, 3, whether James really intended to live in Virginia, 4, why she never reported the mortgage, and 5, whether these staffers were coerced or a part of a cover-up. So guess who investigators were probably going to interview first? Levy and Parchment. And if any of them flips, it's game over. So this is all alleged, but Letitia James didn't just trip over a form and made some mistakes. Allegedly, she weaponized her own staff for this personal deal. These weren't harmless witnesses. They were her lieutenants, lawyers, and they put their names on a document now labeled a federal concern. If they backtrack in any way, she's absolutely cooked. If they say she directed the whole thing, she's done. And if either one gets charged, forget about resignations, forget about quitting, we're talking about prison time.
As opposed to, and I'm sure Chris will probably get to this, they're claiming that I engaged in mortgage fraud, that I somehow decided that I was a resident of Virginia, which would be some commute every morning to the office at 28 Liberty, that somehow, I should be held to the same standard as Donald Trump, but somehow what I did was basically similar to what Donald Trump engaged in. And there's just no comparison. The allegations against me are totally baseless. And again, it was based on a 2-year investigation of his assets. And that judgment was issued by a Supreme Court justice. And there was an argument before the First Department Appellate Division, and we are awaiting a decision.
And the problem is with the situation, you don't get to yell fraud at Trump for 2 years while lying on your own mortgage forms to save a few $1,000s. That's not justice. That is just hypocrisy with a signature on it. Let's look at a timeline. August 17, 2023, James signs the principal residence form. August 30th, 2023, the mortgage closes. October 2nd, 2023, she launches the Trump trial, and October 30th, 2023, deadline to move to Virginia. During all that, it looks like she never left New York. No moving trucks, no records of residence. Just a bunch of press conferences, court dates, and a lot of photo ops in New York City. It's like declaring that you moved to Mars, but showing up every day on Dunkin' Donuts on Flatbush Avenue. So this investigation is in motion, and there's a lot of things already kind of in place. There's James' signature on some sworn legal documents. You got 2 AG officials signing on as witnesses. No proof that she ever lived at the Virginia property. Mortgage not disclosed on ethic forms, and a history of property misrepresentation on other homes. This is not just smoke, this is a 5-alarm legal fire. Many people think that she just buried herself. This isn't a political hit job, this was paperwork betrayal. Letitia James may have made her worst mistake ever, but not necessarily committing a bad act, but now involving people who worked under her, who now may have to testify against her. And what does that say about her leadership? What kind of AG sets up her own team to clean up after a mess? I mean, again, if you're going to preach accountability, you got to make sure that your own house is clean. And for Letitia James, that Virginia house might take her entire career down with it. So let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Should her staff be charged too? Do you think any of them will flip? Or do you think this, again, all smoke and mirrors is not a big deal? Let me know in the comments below. And if you want to continue to support this channel directly, you can check out my Patreon for exclusive content, early releases, and all that good stuff. And also sign up for my email newsletter to get the updates on the channel, what's going on here. We're helping to get to that next big milestone on the channel, 100,000 subscribers. We're getting close, and your support means everything. So thank you very much for checking out this content. And on that note, thank you for taking time to watch this video, and I'll see you guys in the next video.